Hello everybody, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. If you're wondering what I am doing, I am making my video on my iPad to where I can see it, so when we go to making cards, I can make sure that you guys are all in line with me, okay? So anyway, again, I'm Rita Holmes, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I live in Ohio. It's very cold right now. That's why I'm down here in my craft room. And wanted to be down here all day, but I decided since I was staying home, it was Saturday, didn't want to go out. I did some cleaning. I even fixed dinner for my husband, which is something that comes rare. We run so much. You think being retired that we would be able to stay home. But no, we run a lot. So anyway, I do want to remind you that celebration ends this month, at the end of the month. So if you have anything you want out of there, you will want to be able to get that by the end of the month. If you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. I have a online store at ritaholmes.stampinup.net that you can go there and you can order on your own, or I can help you with an order, either way. And also, if you would like to join Stampin' Up, now's the best time to do that. It is $99. You get $125 worth of free product for $99. So it's really not free, but some of it is. And with that, you can pick 2 stamp sets extra besides the $125 out of either the annual catalog or the mini catalog. So that's a great savings, because depending on the price of the stamp sets, because it can be any price, it can't be a bundle, it's stamp sets only. But it could be a big savings for you if you want to do that. And try Stampin' Up. You know, we call them kidnappers if you do it just for a discount for yourself. A hobbyist, you know, because you make so many cards, you need to do it for a discount for yourself. Or if you want to try to start a little business and maybe make a little money to pay for your habit. That's how I started. And that's still what I do. I don't have a big business per se, as far as, you know, tons of downline and just making tons of money off Stampin' Up. I don't. This is something I do for fun. I love it. And but I do try to support my habit a little bit, because being retired, we kind of have to do that. So today I am going to bring you, it's not a technique, it's not a fun fold, it's 5 little cards made with 1 stamp set that I think gets overlooked in our catalog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera down so that you'll be able to see it, and I am going to run through making 5 different cards with this little stamp set. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you stay with me for the whole time. You just saw my phone thing, and now you see my ceiling, and hopefully now you see my catalog, and my information is all right here with my YouTube name, which you should know that if you're on here. It has my email. It has my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, where I do my videos every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. I also make PDFs for all of my cards that I do over there, which you can go over and join and snag any of those PDFs that you want. There are a lot of them there. Today, my PDFs do not have a ton of directions because the cards are so self-explanatory, but they do tell you what I used and stuff. The stamp set I am using is called Cactus Cuties. I think this stamp set gets overlooked because, you know, unless you live like in Arizona and places like that, you do a lot of cactus stuff. I'm in Midwestern Ohio, so no, you know, cactuses aren't a big thing here as far as just seeing them grow somewhere. But anyway, here is the stamp set. And I'm going to be using basically all of this, all of the sentiments, and this flower. I did not use these extra little pieces here. You can bundle that with a punch, and the punch is here, which gives you, and I'll set it over here so you can see, this is this cactus, this pot is this pot, the flower, that flower, kinda. And this is this piece of cactus right here. So you have all of that right here in the punch. You can get the bundle for $31.50. So that's, you know, one of our cheaper bundles. Probably one, I think it might be the cheapest bundle we have in the catalog. So I thought I would show it just because I thought it was cute. I thought the price point was great. And and I just wanted to share it. But I do want to say I only used this stamp set, these sentiments. But some of the dies that I'm going to be using, I'll go ahead and show you the names of them. I will be using Stitch So Sweetly because I'm going to be using one of these dies right here. I'm going to be using the Stitch Rectangle because I'm going to be using one of these right here. I'm going to use Pinned Flowers because I'm using the border that's right here. I'm going to be using the Tailor-Made Tags. I'm going to be using this tag right here. And then I'm going to be using the circles here. And the circles I'm going to be using is, I believe, this circle with this circle. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to move my catalog out of the way. Again, this is a bundle, Cactus Cuties. It's $31.50. The number's 158058 if you would want to jot that down so you know the number to order. You can order separately. The stamp set is $17. The punch is $18, which makes it $35. So you get, what, of $3.50 savings to bundle that. Okay, let's put that away. Let's go through our cards. Whoops, I think I picked up a card. We're going to do a little 3x3 that would be great to use in a little gift or whatever you want to give. It says just a note. I decorated the little envelope that comes with these. Very easy. I also did one of our note cards that's in our catalog. Again, a very simple note card. It has an envelope. I did not decorate that envelope, mainly because I used all designer series paper and stuff. Then I have 3 different cards, and I have one that is very simple. There is no layers to this card. It is just a basic card. Then I have one that is more of an intermediate or casual card, which is this one, which lends to us to having some paper, some cardstock in here to where we're building and giving a little bit more dimension on our card. So, and I brought the outside of my card to the inside here. So that one, and then we have for the Avid Crafter where you do a little bit more. It's more of a fun fold because as you can see, it doesn't go full card this way. We have designer series paper here, so when you open it, you see that, and we stamped on the inside. We've built layers here. We've done a border here. We've kind of tucked our saying in here, so we have some dimension going on with these two. Here's some dimension. We have a fold that's a little bit different, and I'll tell you all about each one of them as we do them. And we are going to start, I showed you 1 to 5 and how we were doing them. So we're going to start here with number 1, which is just our little 3x3 card right here. That's what we're going to be doing first. I was looking to make sure I had my stamp cleaner in here because I'm using a lot of different stamps and I want to be able to clean the different colors off. So what I took first, and I'll tell you the sizes as we go, I have a piece of 3" by 6" piece of basic white cardstock. I'm going to fold it in half to make me a 3x3 card. I'm going to make sure that matches up at the ends. And if you're first time visiting me, I have a funny looking bone folder, don't I? It's Pampered Chef's Pot Scrubbers, but I just like to use these. I've used these for years and years as my bone folder, and it's just something I do. You know, kind of quirky, I know, but that's okay. And then we've got a piece 2.5 by 2.5 that will be on the front here. We also have a piece of Granny Apple Green that's 3/4 by 3. That's going to go on here. And then a 1/2 inch by 3 that will be on top of it. So anyway, I'm going to turn my card over. I like this side better. Do y'all do that? Find which side you like better and then flip it? Yeah, that's me. So I'm just going to take and put this on. I'll line it up at the top. I don't want it hanging over that fold in case I miscut, which, yeah, that's something I do. I'm sure you've all done it a time or two if you made many cards. And then I'm going to take my little piece here, and this came out of the pattern party that you can get if you place a $150 order. Well, it's $18, so to get it free, you'd have to do a $180 order, and then, but you can buy this, and but you have to have that party or workshop or an order that comes to that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 2.5 by 2.5. I'm not going to be using my glue anymore for this card. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this stamp and this little cactus, and we're going to take just a note. So let me get all of these lined up on my blocks, and we will get started with this card. The two colors that I used on this is Granny Apple Green and Cinnamon Cider. I really like the Cinnamon Cider for the pots, so I use those. I am going to stamp my just a note first so I know where I want to stamp my potted plant. And actually, I don't know how you guys line your stamps up sometimes, but I'll find a straight line and line that up. Still doesn't look straight to me, but probably because my straight line's not straight. But anyway, it's good enough. Good enough. So let's take, I'm going to scoot my phone over. We got that black spot right where I don't like it. So let's scoot that. Get that kind of out of the way. Drives me crazy when I look and see that. There we go. This other black spot up in the left-hand corner is my iPad, which I look at to see if I'm in line. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to bring in my piercing mat to stamp one. Now, I don't always do this, but I'm going to do it today because if I'm a heavy-handed stamper, so therefore I don't necessarily have to use this all the time, but I'm bringing it in to show you because if you are a light-handed stamper, this gives a little bit of cushion for your stamp instead of a hard table. So I'm going to take and I'm going to stamp that right at the bottom. And I'm just going to hold that there a second, let that ink soak into my paper, my cardstock, and lift it up. So that looks really good there. So we're going to get the green ink off of that because our next card is going to use it also. I'm going to take the Cinnamon Cider with the basket punch because this is the one we're doing right here. So I'm going to take that with the Cinnamon Cider. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to make sure it looks all inked when I do that. And you can tell on these photopolymers if you've got your stamp all inked. So now I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to stamp it right above my just a note. There again, I'm going to hold it a minute, let it soak in, and pull it up. And that We're not going to use this again, so let's put it away because I am notoriously famous for stamping my stamps in the wrong ink pad when I go to stamp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this twice. I'm going to stamp it full color, and I'm going to stand up because I want to line that up on that pot. Make sure I got that ink down at the bottom. And I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to offset it and stamp again. And that's how I get my two colors, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right here on my envelope. I'm going to stamp, offset, stamp, and I can actually offset and stamp onto the other side and give it all that dimension if I want it to be really, really full. So that is all the stamping we have to do on this. Very easy. I like easy. Let's clean this stamp, and then we're going to, all we have to do, and I have my bows already made. I used the linen thread. I'm going to bring a pop dot in. Let me tear some of this paper off. I don't need all that. It's garbage. So let me bring, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll a pop dot onto this so that you don't see it on the back, you know, from the front. And I'm going to put that right where the pot and the cactus meet. Bring my card back in. I'm going to use dimensionals. Whoops. Got all kinds of stuff here. And I'm just going to add 4 dimensionals. I think I'll do 5. I want my middle to stand up pretty good. So I'm just going to take these, take that off, and make a quick little note card. And there we go. That's our note card. Okay? So that one's done. We don't need it anymore. So we're going to move it. Our next card we're going to do is this note card. So let me get a couple stamps out here. I need my hello and my just a note. Yep, that's what I need. So we have those out. Here's my note card. Here's the envelope and the note cards. These come, they are in our catalog. I forget how much they are. I should have wrote that down. But I'm just going to fold this and crease it. And I am going to go ahead, and this is also out of Pattern Play, and it's 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And that's what's going to go on here. So let's go ahead and glue that on. I like the back side of this paper too. And you know, you hate when you like both sides to cover up one side. But, goodness. But we can't help that, can we? We just what we do. Okay, I'm just going to add this on. Okay, there we go. Well, look, I did it crooked too. It slid on me, of all things. That's all right. We'll just pick it up and start again. It's one thing about using the Tombow glue. And I feel a little piece of glue right there. So guess what? I'm going to get my glue eraser. And I'm just going to make sure I don't have any glue filling on my card. I use this thing so much. I love it. It's one of my most favorite things. It's my glue eraser. Okay, so we can set that there. I have my 2 tags. Now I cut these. They're from the TaylorMade tags, and they're both the same size. I'm going to do my Just a Note up the side of this. Is petal pink. Yeah. Couldn't spit that out, could I? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up with the Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to turn this. I'm just going to turn the whole thing, because I want this right up in the corner here. So there we go. I had to stand up for a minute. So there is Just a Note. And then I'm going to stamp my hello. And it's a little bitty stamp. So I'm going to try not to get ink all over the edges of it, because when I stamp with these little ones, I tend to want to rock it just a little bit to make sure I got the letters. So I am going to bring that down a little bit. I don't want it in the way of my bow. So I'm just not rocking it all the way, just so I can get that nice image. So we have that done. Let me put this little bitty stamp up, because I'm always afraid about losing my little ones. Put the ink pad up so I don't get my hands all in it, like I do a lot of times. I've already punched out my cactus in the pot, and I did it all out of pattern paper, out of that pattern play, whatever. And see, it's just going to build just straight like this, and then the little flower is going to go on. So what I'm going to do, and I didn't want the glue to squish out from this stuff, so I'm going to bring in my Tombow adhesive. I know I should be using my Stampin' seal, but it's in the other room, because this is where I do my videos, and I have another room where I do all my creative stuff, my messy room. So this is going to go, I'm just going to butt that up with the paper, and then I'm going to just add a little bit on there, and hoping it doesn't show, and put my flower on. There we go. And then my bow, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the little bow made out of the linen. This comes out of the pack that is, let me tell you the name of it, because I really forget the name. It is the Cotton Combo Pack. It's the petal pink that's in that, and I think the other one is Misty Moonlight. 2 pretty colors anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue dot down here, and I'm just going to, as I put that on there, I'm just going to roll it and hope it all comes off. So I'm going to make sure it's all back behind the little knot on my bow, and I'm just going to put it to cover up that hole there, okay? And now what I'm going to do, we've got that done. I am going to take my card, and I'm going to try to figure out where I want these as far as seeing. Okay, that'll be about good. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to take and I'm going to glue it onto the card base itself, okay? So we're just going to glue that on. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put my dimensionals on it. So I'll just pull those off. And I'm going to take and just line that up at the bottom. Make sure that I can see my just a note. And there we go. That's our little note card. You could do this on a regular size card too. It would work. You could just make that a little bit bigger. And you could even take and put maybe another tag over here, maybe with nothing on it, or whatever you want to do. If you wanted it to really be centered and not show as much as the dark. There's a little spot on there, and I'm going to get it off with my sand eraser. If you're not familiar with a sand eraser, if there's like any ink on your card, smudges or whatever, it'll take that off. There we go. All right, that is done. So let's put this over where it goes, out of the way. Our next card will just be this. Very hard card for me to do because I like layers. So doing this card was not the easiest task. Now what I did with this card is I am using since it's going to be no layers in that, I'm using the thick basic white cardstock because it's heavier. So you don't see through it as easy, and it stands up better when it's standing alone. So what I'm going to do, I'll be using different pots on my card. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the two pots we're going to use, which is the one that's got the 3 diamonds like shape in them, and then this little squatty looking clay pot. I'm going to bring in this piece of scrap paper because I'm going to stamp off, okay? So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take my just a note and I am going to stamp over here to my side. So let's do that. I'm going to do that in Soft Succulent. That is the color that I'm using for my cactus. So I'm going to ink this up in Soft Succulent. Make sure I got it inked good. I got ink on my blocks. I hope I don't get it on my card. So we're going to just stamp that. So I better not rock it. There we go. Better clean my block. What a mess. I can't stamp unless I can be messy. How about you? I am just a messy stamper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my 2 pots. Whoops, I'm not going to do it in Soft Succulent. See, I told you if I leave a stamp pad open, man, I think it's free to go. So let's bring in the cinnamon cider again. I really like these for the pots. So I'm going to ink my stamp up, make sure I have it inked really well, and I'm going to stick it over here. So there is my cinnamon cider pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other little squatty pot, that's what I'll call it, the squatty pot. And I'm going to stamp off once. And then I'm going to bring it over here and then stamp again to make me a lighter colored pot. So I like that. So let's get out our two cactus that we're going to be using, which will be this little fat guy and this one that's got two on it. We're going to use it. Doesn't matter which one we stamp first. I'm going to put the cinnamon cider away. So let me ink up the little one, and I'll stick it right on. Is my head in the way? I hope not. So there's that, and then we'll ink up the other one. I hear my husband upstairs getting him some ice cream, because we were talking about it earlier, so I know that's what he wants for a snack. Okay, there is our two cacti, since cacti is plural for cactus. It's not cactuses. That's a mouthful to say, cactuses. Maybe that's why they call them cacti, huh? I don't know all the ins and outs about that stuff, so, you know, I can't really say a whole lot. But what I'm going to get now is the little flower. We will put away the soft succulent and get out Flirty Flamingo, which y'all know, if you've been here very much, it's my favorite color that I like to stamp with. My favorite color, all in all, is yellow. So I'm going to stamp flower right there. Right there. And maybe right there. So that's our card. How easy is that one? That one's like way easy. You know what? I kind of like to do easy cards sometimes, because you can really pull them out if you're wanting to do a lot, which is good. So that card is done. And that was our easy card. My husband's up there making a lot of noise. Goodness. Must be getting more than ice cream. Okay, our next card is this one right here, which is my one that just has a little bit more layers. And this card right here is 5.5 by 8.5 folded in half for 4, so it makes it a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Okay, that's all that one is. This one again is 5.5 by 8.5 folded in half to make our 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Then I have two pieces that's 5 by 3 3/4, one for the front, one for the inside. I have, that's both of those. Then I have two pieces that are 3/4 by 4 1/4 to go on the, 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 is what I meant to say. That go right here. And then I have this that is 1 inch or 3/4 or thereabouts by 3 3/4 or a little bit. I don't make sure that it's all the same because I'm going to cut the notch out right here. So this one's a little shorter, and this one is shorter yet that goes onto the inside of my card. So what we're going to do, let's build these cards up first. So I'm going to take and glue my inside in, since we're not really stamping in there or doing anything to it except for putting this little tag that we're going to make. And I like to use my tailor-made tag punch for that, but I let someone borrow it before Christmas and I haven't got it back. I need to text her and tell her I would like to have my stamp back, my punch back, because I miss it. So what I'm going to do is just cut up the center and then cut an angle into where I just cut that out. As you see, it just pops out. Then I'm going to glue that down. Nothing fancy, nothing real precise. If one tag gets a little bit bigger than the side gets a little, or tail gets a little bit bigger than the other, it's okay too. And I'm just going to glue that in on my card. That just brings my outside to my inside. Now before I glue the other one to the front, I'm going to take and glue these onto the front. So I'm just going to take, and this is Misty Moonlight. Actually, I need to move that up. And then I'm going to take this as Petal Pink. And I'm going to put that down here. And then I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. This one seems a little bit wider because it's probably a scrap that I had that's not quite 3/4 of an inch, but we can use it. We don't have to be real precise on it either. And we're just going to take and glue that down also. So a lot of just easy gluing on this card. Little layers, but, and that's going to be put right there. Okay. Now I'm going to take and stamp hello. Let me get that little bitty hello out again. That little stamp so little. Just put it on the block. Get out the Memento black once more. I'm going to try not to smudge my edges so that I can put this down and rock it just a little bit. So I'm just going to put that down and just kind of wiggle it. Not really a rock, just a wiggle. There we go. I didn't know there was a difference between a rock and a wiggle, but I think there is. I think when you rock, you go a little bit more. And there my stamp came off my block. I just cleaned my blocks too. Do y'all clean your blocks? When mine get really kind of dirty looking, I clean them with a paper towel and simple green. And kind of just use it like a window clean, you know. I actually spray it on my paper towel and wipe it and get any smudgy stuff off of it. So I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to go ahead and glue this on because I'm not going to be stamping anymore on it. So we can go ahead and glue that down. And this color that I'm using here, the card base, is Pool Party, which is another nice color to use. Okay, let's move that for a minute. And then here are my circles out of my layering circles. I'm going to lay that one to the side. I'm going to stamp on this one. And I am going to use the little pot with the stripes in it again, and the cute little cactus. I like that little cactus. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight to stamp my pot. Make sure everything's all up. And I'm going to stamp it towards the bottom. Hold that a minute, let it soak, and pull it up. So we're done with the blue, so I'm going to go ahead and put that away. And then I'm going to get out the Granny Apple Green again. I like that because it's one of the colors in the DSP that's on there. And I just like using that a lot. So, that is what I did. So, we are going to bring this in, our Granny Apple Green, and we're going to stamp or ink that up and stamp. We're going to stamp off again. And I am going to ink this, and I'm going to stamp off because I'm going to do it on the other side on this card. There we go. I think that looks nice also. What do y'all think? Can you see it? I'll bring it up a little closer, and you can see how that just inks it all, brings it together. So what I'm going to do now is get this stamp out of my way so I don't put my fingers in it. Because I have a bad habit, a very bad habit of sticking my fingers in the ink. I don't know what it is about that, but I am just kind of crazy about doing that. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to just add some glue to the back of this. And I'm going to glue it to this little scallop circle. And I just have it big enough that you can just barely see the scallops, but it's enough to give it some dimension. Now I'm going to bring in it. I made one more bow with the linen thread, and I'm going to roll that again. Make sure it's all behind the knot there. And then just add it to the front of my card. And I just kind of push on that with my thumbnail. What thumbnail I have. And then we are going to take it, put it on with dimensionals on our card. And that card's done. And I got ink on my sample card. So, I might be able to show you how well that sand eraser works. Let's see if I can get that off. I don't know when I got it on there, but we'll see if I can get it off. So, there we go. We've got that on there. Can you see that ink right there? Don't know how I did it. I'm going to bring this in and see if I can get that off. I don't know if y'all have one of these or not. I ordered mine through Amazon, and they're just called Mono Sand Erasers. They came 3 in a pack. I forget how much they were. But there you go. See, it's gone. Isn't that a neat thing to have? I enjoy it. Okay, one more card. We're done. So what I have here, this is 7 1/4. You can tell when I was scoring, my score thing jumped. So, and you know how you can get that out to where you can't see it as bad as you take your bone folder and you rub it. So that you can get it out. It's not really going to be seen. But it takes it out somewhat. This is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, so that when you fold it, you have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. Okay, See, right there's that mark, and it's going to be covered up. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do, I have a piece that's 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's going to go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that on with my glue. So I'm just going to line it up here at the bottom edge. And with the edge of my card. And I'm going to turn that over, and there is just a little tiny sliver of DSP right here, and I figured there would be, because when I made this card after cutting these, it was there on the other card. So we have that glued down. Now what I'm going to do, I already took and cut out my scallop, and I took a piece of cardstock 3/4 of an inch, laid this right at one edge, and I don't know if you can see, there's a little line right here behind the stitched, and that's how I'm going to line up this piece that's 2 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to line that up right where that little embossed line is, to try to make that even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my glue up the edge of my card. And I'm just going to take and hold that on that line and bring this one down to that line also, or try to. It's hard to see when you lay it down. I think I got it there. Yeah. Okay, it's not going to budge, so I'm going to have to trim this off. Not that I like it like that, but I'm going to. And then this will get glued onto the front here, and I can glue it all the way to the back if I want, or I can leave a little bit of an edge of the white over here. You can do it either way you like. Because I have this little scored line right here, I'm going to tend to go back as far as I'm in with, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the Hope Your Day is on Point. I'm going to stamp that on the inside. We're going to go ahead and do that. So let's bring that in, and we're just going to stamp it right here. Hope your day is on point. And now we'll stamp our little, what I'm going to do with the pot, because I want it a little bit lighter, I'm going to be stamping it in the Misty Moonlight, but I'm going to stamp off because I want it to be a lighter blue. I don't want it so dark. Stamp off, and then bring it in, and I'm going to stamp right here. And that made a little lighter. Now before I go on, because I want to do this so that they'll dry a little bit, I'm going to bring in these jewels that I'm going to add, and I'm going to take my dark Pool Party, and I am going to color 3 jewels and let them dry. They dry pretty instantly, but I want to let them dry for a minute because we're going to use them. Okay, now back to the pot. We're going to bring in the, we're done with Misty Moonlight. We're going to bring in the Pool Party. We are actually going to stamp this cactus with Pool Party. So let's ink that up. I'm going to bring that in. And stamp that. So that is done. Now what I did with this is I am going to actually use dimensionals. We're done with glue. Hopefully we're done with scissors. And we're done with that. Trying to move everything out of our way. And we actually are done with this thing. We can get all this out of the way and finish the card. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take dimensionals and put on my white on the back of it. And I am just going to stagger these. And I hope I want to move this one up if I can. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. We'll just do with what we have to. Right? Didn't think about where I was placing my hello. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the front here. Okay. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of here. And I want it to stand up good. So let's do that. So we're adding a lot of dimension to the card here. Make sure we had them all off. So we're going to add that to the front. I'm going to take my hello. I do need my scissors again. I'm going to cut this just a little bit shorter here. And then I'm going to make my tag just like I did before. And there we go. And what I'm going to do is stick these in under here between the two layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue because I want to be able to wiggle it, so I'm using glue. I just want room to get it in there. So I've added just glue right there at the end, tip of it. And I'm just going to add this in here and then decide how I want it. I'm going to press down on that because it'll actually, whoops, I knew that was going to happen. You can just press there. And that has it in between the two layers. And now we're going to bring in our jewels that we colored. We can, yep. There's our 3 jewels. You can barely see. I can see the color on them though. Barely see it. I colored them at the pool party. And I'm going to stick those in each of the diamond shape. And that is our finished card. So we did 5 cards, you know, from very, very simple to a little bit more, not harder, but more detailed. So that is all of our cards. So we did 5 of them. I hope you guys enjoyed them, and I hope you like seeing this Cactus Cuties if you hadn't seen it before, because it is a stamp set that I feel that, you know, has gotten overlooked a little bit. You don't see as much out there about it, so I wanted to be able to share that with you. So until I do a next video, I hope you guys have a great day, great night. If you watch the Super Bowl, since I'm doing this on Saturday night, I hope your team wins. I will tell you I'm from Ohio. I'm in the greater Cincinnati area. So I'm voting. I am rooting on the Bengals. So I really, really, really hope they win. So until then, and I guess we'll know the next time we meet who won. You guys have a great night. Thanks. Bye.